Welcome to another episode of Freedom on the Water with Newport. In this episode, we kayak mothership out to the bluefin grounds off San Diego, California, where we found bluefin tuna splashing around about 15-20 miles off the coast. We deployed the kayak with the NT300 on the back, and the reason I chose the NT300 was because it was easier to drop the motor on the bracket than anything else we offer, and it offered me a little more punch when I needed to chase down spots of fish. So we were able to successfully mothership this kayak with the NT300 on it offshore. I compared this to when I was fighting the fish, a professional surfer towing into big waves. Obviously, 20 miles offshore in pretty challenging conditions is a big task for the NT300, but I felt like it was the right tool for the job when we got out there. So I was able to, get on and off the throttle pretty easily, and like I said, have that speed and that punch when I needed it. And the ease of just getting the boat in the water and mounting the motor up. It was really the perfect choice. I hope you enjoy this episode. Pretty exciting for me, checking off about a 3-year goal that's been in the works. Maybe longer, about 5-year goal that's been in the works since this bluefin tuna's been off the San Diego coast and close to home. And yeah, happy to finally get it done, filming this episode, and I hope you enjoy. Yeah, so what I've got going on here is we're about 15 miles off the coast of San Diego. We got bluefin tuna in the area, and the whole goal with this trip is to target these big fish on a small watercraft like a kayak or something similar with the NT300 electric motor to sneak up on these fish and get that small boat experience with some big fish on the end of the line. So, this is something that's been kind of on my bucket list for a long time, and there's a little opportunity here to do it. And I know it seems like maybe you want to see somebody launch off the beach and come out here and do this completely unassisted, but the way I think about this is it's kind of similar to when you see a big wave surfer towing into a big wave with a jet ski assist. There's just certain circumstances that call for a different approach, and this is our approach today, and we'll see if we can make something happen. There's a lot of bird life in the area. We've seen some fish splashing around, and I think it's a good opportunity to really give it a shot here. And this NT300 really allowing me to chase fish down a little bit if I need to. There's been some fish up splashing around. They don't stay up too long, so you kind of got to stealth in, get close to them, and hope for an opportunity that you can reach. So I'm just I like this area. Seems very fishy, and it's really a patience game sort of at this point. The birds are sort of my eyes in the sky. I can tell when these birds are looking at fish. So I'm kind of sticking with the bird and sticking with the sign of life and hoping that something materializes here. I've got a live sardine out the back, about 75 or 100 yards behind the boat here. And a lot of times with a real quiet approach like this, slow trolling can be pretty effective. NT300 on the back of the kayak because it's a little easier to drop on the water out here onto the transom motor mount bracket. We will see. Let's see if something materializes here. You got to think this live sardine seems like a pretty appetizing snack for these fish. I'm gonna... Dude, I'm bit! I'm bit! I'm bit! Actually use those waves to my advantage. When I drop down the backside of the swell, I can gain some line on these fish. It's bigger fish. It's one little thing you pick up over time, spending time fighting these things out here. This fish is actually pretty close. Another thing I want to talk about too is using your leverage points. So what I mean by that is you can see kind of using my knee here, getting comfortable in my seat. And then you can kind of use, especially on the kayak, this is more of a wind yourself to the fish than wind the fish to you. So you want to be extra careful when you get the fish up next to the boat, because these things definitely act a little unpredictable. I don't think this fish is a real super big fish, but this NT300 just worked absolutely perfect for this thing. And on the kayak, I'm really tiring this fish out. You can see the bend in my rod. It's big bend here. In kayak fishing, they call this a sleigh ride. So for tuna, I have relatively light tackle as well. This is kind of like 30-pound tackle, which is a little less than what you really want here. But saw a couple seiners around, and you know, these fish definitely get smart to what we're doing here. So just like targeting largemouth bass on 4-pound test in clear water when the bite gets tough, similar deal, just step it up on the scale a little bit. Definitely with this kind of fishing and this kind of approach, yes, know your limits. Make sure you've got the experience under your belt to come out here and do something like this. And again, 30-pound test. These fish have teeth, so you got to be aware. Nice fish. Don't ever want them doing that next to the boat. I've honestly been after this moment for maybe a solid 3 years now. I felt like the fish was tired enough I could take a little bit of a chance. And as soon as I stuck it, I kind of took note of which way that fish was swimming, and I offset the way the fish was swimming with the weight of my body. And that's not something that I recommend doing or that's preferred. Definitely, you know, I was in a position to let everything go if I needed to. You just have to be aware of how small these boats really are. And you know, be prepared to be nimble. And if you're not comfortable enough to be nimble and shift weight and counterbalance a big fish like that, you know, maybe you need just a little more time under your belt. So the main thing here is safety. Like I said, got a spotter. I've been fishing this kind of stuff my whole life. And you know what's interesting is I feel like the stealth approach of the NT and maybe even the slight whine of the motor ramping up triggered that bite. So it's hard to say for sure, but you kind of can't deny it. I've been trying to kayak tuna for years, and all of a sudden I put the NT on the back and it happens. So after deploying the kayak with the NT300 on it in a fishy area, you know, I feel like the stealth factor of this motor was really an important factor here, because I kind of clicked my drag over and just to come tight on my bait, just to connect with my bait and kind of see how it was swimming, and you know, and the fish was there. And I don't know if the fish picked the bait up and kind of was swimming in unison with the boat. Initial run that fish took, and the weight, feeling that weight attached to the other end of the line, was something that's like, that's the single feeling that you come back for, I feel like. And you know, that fish, even after about a 30-minute fight, came up boat side pretty green, and I had a couple shots to stick it, and I just didn't have a gaff quite long enough. And so when I finally got a good shot at it, it was kind of darting under the kayak, and I couldn't ask for anything more. It was a perfect day to check this box on my list of to-dos fishing-wise. So super appreciative of your views. If you like it, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more action from Newport. And remember, the way forward is electric.